Welcome back. Welcome back to Get on the Line, the sports podcast that goes beyond stats and scores. I'm your host, Jill Schumacher. This week, we sat down with a member of the Syracuse soccer team, Tomas Hut. Tomas gives us a look on what recruiting is like, but before Syracuse, he played at Army, and he tells us the differences in recruiting when it comes to a military academy compared to a regular college scene, and what you should consider when transferring. From on the field to off the field, he shares his goals. Without further ado, here's Tomas on Get on the Line.
Something that really stuck out to me, and I was saying this, that in certain things in high school that you do outside of your own sport really make you like a better athlete. You founded a spike ball club.
Yeah.
What I saw.
Yeah.
What was the initiative behind that?
So, like, in goalie training, we always did spike ball, and we didn't really have a goalie coach in high school. I mean, it's high school. Most schools don't really have one.
Yeah.
So all the goalies, as a warm-up, would do spike ball. And then after, like, I guess lunchtime in high school, we had close to, like, an hour and a half after of just a free block on Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Fridays. And so, like, for a high school kid, you're like, okay, I can't drive yet. I'm not 17. What can we do to fill our time? And so anytime it was nice out and there wasn't snow on the turf, like right outside of school, we would just play spike ball. And then we had so many kids trying to do it and play on one net. We ended up getting like a small little fund from the school just to get a bunch of nets, and it ended up being like 300 kids.
That's cool. Wait, so you founded that yourself?
Yeah.
Or was it just you and like a bunch of other goalies?
I mean, it was under my name, but all the goalies were like
so
together.
you're like the head guy.
Yeah,
who started it?
so-called the founder.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do we think that helped your training at all, or
For sure. Reaction time, yeah.
Is it still there?
I don't know. I haven't been back.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, we got to check that out.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay. So, and then during that time, I mean, getting recruited is like no joke. And I feel like sometimes people don't fully talk about the extent of what goes into the recruiting process and how stressful it could be.
Yeah.
Can you just take me through what it was like for you to start to get recruited originally by a military academy? Because there's a lot of pressure.
Yeah, a lot of pressure. It was honestly one of my like first offers, and then they kind of put me on a timeline with it.
Okay.
So I kind of had to make a decision by a certain point, and then I was just like, okay, like everything on paper looks good to me.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna commit there. They don't have it anymore, but letter of intent, like they don't do it anymore, but everyone had to sign one then. But it was honestly super stressful. You have to get a congressional nomination. You have to have an entire portal filled out with like SAT scores, your current grades, the current class you're taking, a fitness test that has to be approved by like a gym PE teacher or somebody. Have to go and get your fingerprints taken at like at a recruiting office, because like can't just get your fingerprints in a database anywhere.
No, I don't know where I would go for that.
Yeah, so it's just like it's like a 6-month process of just getting everything approved, and until you see like a green check next to everything, then you're kind of like just waiting on things. But I'd say the congressional nominations were definitely the toughest part.
So how did you go about like getting that? Like I don't even know where I would start doing that. Like getting recruited alone.
Yeah, there's a huge application for it. And obviously like the acceptance rate at West Point, not very high. So as an athlete, I have to say you get a little leeway with it. You don't really say that in the interview. Some kids are prepared. Like they know the West Point codes, they know the handbook in and out. And then most athletes like myself, I'll out myself here. I walked in there with no knowledge.
Yeah. That's okay. We figure it out as we go.
We figured it out. So they called.
Fake it till you make it sometimes.
Yeah, they called me like a month later because I didn't hear anything, and I was like, "Hey, like, did I get a nomination or anything?"
Okay.
And I only did my congresswoman, so for my district in New Jersey.
Okay.
I didn't do the senator one, and so they were like, "Sorry, you didn't get it this year. Like, do you want us to put your name in for next year?" And I was like, "No, thank you. I'll figure it out." Called my coach, and then the next day I actually had one from the senator. So it was pretty funny.
Sometimes you just got to make that phone call, and I guess it happens. So, I mean, one way or another. I mean, you were there for, I believe, what was it, 2 years?
2 years, yeah.
Okay. So at what point did you realize that you were like, hey, like, I think I want to go, like, somewhere else?
Honestly, it wasn't till, like, the last week.
Okay. And why? What happened during that last week?
It kind of started in the fall after that fall season.
Okay.
So my class originally was 13 guys. And then I think close to a month before boot camp, that entire coaching staff left. So they all went to Northwestern. One of them became the head at LaSalle. And so we had no idea who the coaches were going to be. Like, we went into boot camp, gave our phones away. Like, we knew who it was, but didn't have a relationship with the coach that we were going into.
Did you have any like contact with them at all during it?
Like a Zoom call, but like a Zoom call for an hour compared to like a year relationship.
Yeah, no, that's not even close to the.
No, not even close.
Okay.
And then after my sophomore season, 2 of our guys left. One went to NC State, and then one went to Louisville. And then just seeing that, I was like, guys both started, went to the ACC, best conference in the country. I was like, okay, let me start thinking about this. I was pretty set and driven that I was going to stay all 4 years until the spring kind of came around. And I openly told my coach the second we came back from winter break, I was like, hey, I'm thinking about entering the transfer portal. Not really sure yet. Don't have a definite answer for you, but I'll keep you updated. And I kept them. Honestly, I was open about it the entire time. And the portal opened up, I believe, on Monday, late March. And I didn't go. It was our end of the year meetings.
Yeah.
Mine was until Thursday.
Well, that's
so
not ideal.
I didn't enter the portal until that Thursday.
Okay.
And I think because I didn't tell him on that Monday.
Yeah, I feel like I would have done the same thing.
Yeah, so I kind of just waited for my meeting. I
mean, respect to you. A lot of people wouldn't have done that.
Yeah, so I gave him the respect. It was a short meeting for sure. And then, yeah, I entered the portal.
Do you think that there's some like stressors going into that, like going into the portal? I mean, like now, like right now, I mean, obviously, like we're just in an age where that everyone's going like in and out of the portal right now.
Yeah.
It feels like what advice could you give for someone who's thinking of like potentially like leaving? Like what options should they really be weighing?
I feel like weighing, like just laying everything out on the table is the most important part. For me, like it was between financial. That was one of the biggest parts because I knew my parents wouldn't help me with tuition. And then athletically, it's like, what do you really want to do? Like, do you want to, like for me, do I want to keep playing soccer after? Am I just looking for like a decent degree and be done after 4 years? So for me, I was like, okay, I want to play soccer after, so let's try and shoot for the highest goal. But honestly, laying everything out on the table, looking at like a pros and cons list, I still have it on my iPad. I have a huge pros and cons list, and I look back at it and it's like funny because
it's like your lock screen.
Yeah. Well, no, definitely not. But it was like pros of staying at Army for me, at least. There was like 3 things, and pros of leaving, there was like 20, 30 things.
So your decision was pretty easy.
Yeah.
I mean, now being here, you're an economics major, right? Or is it you just finished?
Yeah.
Okay. So from what I know about you, like growing up, it seems as if you've always kind of had that drive to be like on a business side of things. Like, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but you would sell like shoes and flip shoes sometimes?
Yeah, I did it in high school, so like a little bit. That was like a short-lived moment. It was definitely not.
Did you go back and do it again?
No, it was such a stressful thing. Like my mom,
sneakerhead type of thing.
Kind of, but it would just be like cleats or just cleats that I had left over, and kids would be like, "Hey, like those are cool. Can I have them?" I'm like, "Sure." Like, buy them off me. And my mom would hate it because eventually like I kept buying cleats, and I'd have like I still have pairs in the basement from high school.
Okay, so then it got to a point where you started buying cleats to start funding this business.
Yeah, for sure.
Were you like in a hole at any point with the
Oh yeah,
money?
definitely.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, the cleats are still sitting in my basement. I didn't sell those, so yeah.
Okay, but from that age, I mean, I know it's high school, but that's coming from somewhere. Like, where do you think that drive from a business side comes?
I think it comes from my whole family. I mean, both my parents own their own company, a redesigning company for houses. My sister owns her own company with a real estate, like capital loans. And then my other sister works for Google, and she's worked since she left college. So definitely like a big,
pretty cool.
Yeah, definitely like a driven family for sure. And even like my sister that works for Google, she sells candles on the side. Like just little things like that.
Like side hustles.
Yeah, like little side hustle, just trying to find extra cash wherever you can.
Do you think you'll have any side hustles coming up, or
Something's in the works with my sister.
Okay, but we can't disclose. All right. I won't ask you to disclose.
Definitely in the works.
I won't ask you to disclose. No, but then finally, some of the last couple of things I do want to ask you.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So I have this segment called Pros Picks,
Okay.
where I ask athletes like what are their preferences on certain things.
Okay.
Okay. So what are your preferences on black cleats?
No, definitely not.
Absolutely not.
Absolutely not.
Okay. Like you see them, you're automatically upset.
I have a pair in my locker, and I refuse to wear them because they're black.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then when you're going on a long travel trip,
Mhm.
gas station, all that, what snack are you getting?
Ooh. Depends what time we leave.
Okay, you're leaving in the morning.
In the morning, okay, I'll probably get like, candy-wise, Lifesavers for sure.
Okay.
Lifesavers, and then if I have to pick a drink, if it's in the morning, I'd say like a Red Bull.
Now, are people stealing your lifesavers on the bus? Or are you keeping those to yourself?
No, I'll share them. I'll share them.
Okay, you'll give them out?
Yeah, definitely.
Is that like led to partially of your success during the season, your generosity?
I guess so, yeah. Yeah, for a little bit.
Okay, and then if you could every day, do you have the same game of day meal or no?
No.
You change it up?
I guess it's just whatever we're given.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because I know some people are strictly.
I'm strict about my breakfast. But
What's the
then
breakfast?
3 eggs, piece of sourdough, and fruit. Yeah, I eat that every morning.
What type of sourdough?
Any sourdough.
Any sourdough?
Yeah.
Okay, I wasn't sure if it was specifically
No.
Trader Joe's kind.
No.
Because that's the
Although
kind
it's
I
really
eat.
good.
That's specifically the kind that I eat.
Trader Joe's is really good.
And then I know you're a goalie, but if you could, and when and if you scored a goal, what's your favorite celly?
Backflip. Whether I can
Doing a backflip.
whether I can do it or not, I'm gonna try it.
What happens if you end up on the floor?
I used to be able to do it when I was little, so I took gymnastics when I was little.
Okay.
And then kind of as I got bigger and heavier, just slowly.
Do we think that added to your agility in net at all?
Sure. Yeah.
Gymnastics?
Yeah, like
All right,
flexibility.
so now we have to tell every young goalie that they have to start doing
It helps.
gymnastics
It helps.
and doing backflips when they save the ball.
Okay, maybe not that. If they score though, because it'll never happen. Yeah.
I don't know. I'm not allowed to score in lacrosse. It's
Really?
against the rule. Yeah, you can't.
Really? I didn't know that.
For women's at least.
Oh, I was gonna say I feel
They
like
have
it
all the
happened.
gear and everything.
Oh, yeah, that's fair.
Yeah. And then what is your favorite memory so far while you've been here on this team?
There's so many. I'd have to say our win against Pitt senior night. Yeah, they were ranked, I think, 1 in one poll and 3 in another. It was our senior night. My parents drove up for the game, and we kept our 3rd shutout of the season. Ended up winning 2-0.
It's awesome.
Yeah,
I was at that game. It was a lot of fun.
yeah, it was a lot of
It was fun.
It was fun.
All right. Well, thank you so much for joining me. I really
me.
appreciate